So Lawrence, we've had a great day riding so far. A little bit of pavement, a little bit of off-road, even some trails. We got into some single track even, which was pretty neat. Yeah. For me as a fairly new rider, you know, all these tips that we've learned through the season so far from Clinton really came in handy, but I found a couple times where I was certainly nervous, and one of them was riding in the deep sand. So do you have sort of some tips on how to navigate that?
Yeah, sand's tricky for sure. It's one of the most difficult things you can do, especially on an adventure bike. And you know, we don't have big sand dunes like in some places I've ridden, but the theory is that it goes straighter and nicer if you accelerate through it. But it takes a lot of confidence to do that, a lot of time.
Absolutely. And after you did say that to me earlier in the ride, and I kept that in mind as we were going through, because yeah, you did get to some points where you panic a little bit, but you just got to really remember the instructions that you've been given. And obviously, I'm very fortunate to have learned from two of the best this season. Another issue that we had when we were going through some single track is there were some places that we just couldn't get with the bigger bikes. We had to turn them around. There's a couple different techniques to doing that. What do you recommend?
Well, first of all, I'm always aware of how much energy I have, and it's finite, right? You know, so I don't try and muscle the bike around at all. I use every advantage. If you can roll it up a hill and roll it backwards and turn it around in a few steps like that and use the clutch, that really makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, and I think it's a matter of building the confidence too as you are getting more comfortable with your own motorcycle, as well as doing that type of off-road riding. For someone like me of shorter stature, it's even more of a challenge to figure out how you're going to turn those bikes around. Once in a while, it's best to just get off of it, right?
Yeah.
But no, it's been, you know, it's really fantastic to have the opportunity to ride with somebody like yourself. You mentioned before that sort of the terrain had changed quite a bit. So, you know, do you recommend sticking to standing up on the bike? Do you sit down? Do you do a little bit of both?
Well, that's where when you build experience, you really, and try a bunch of different things. So try the same section sitting down, standing up. You'll see the differences, because when you stand up, it actually lowers the overall center of gravity of the whole package going along the trail. And that makes a big difference. So in sand, get your weight up off the seat onto the foot pegs and the handlebars, and it actually makes it way easier, and then crank the throttle and it'll go nice and straight.
Cool. Well, it might not be Dakar or Baja, but for me it's been pretty awesome, especially riding with you. So I want to put a couple more of these tricks to practice, so let's get out and do a little bit more.
Let's go.
All right.